Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and in this tip I want to talk to you about how to improve the performance of your 36 horsepower motor. Now if you're like me, I like to restore the 50s bugs, and from 54 to 1960 they had the 36 horsepower 1192cc engine. In Europe they might have had, early 54 was about 30 horse, but then at the late 54 they went to 36. But pretty much it's from 54 to 60 you had 36 horse. Now, I like to stay stock with my cars, as you can see, and basically, if I'm traveling to a show, I do like to drive my cars. And coming from New York, a lot of times I have to hit the New York State Thruway, the Garden State Parkway, or even the New Jersey Turnpike to drive to a show. And as we all know, that's like the Indy 500 with a lot of today's cars, and people are flying on those roads. And here I'm cruising with my little 36 horse, and sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking. But I took it upon myself to improve the performance of my motor, and not only just for practicality purposes, but at the same time, you know, safety and also staying period correct. Now, what I did was, the first thing I did was that I upgraded the distributor, the stock distributor, to the 010 Bosch distributor, which was used on 36 horsepower motors in the 50s on the Samba buses and the transporters. And ideally so, because they needed this distributor to give the car a little more kick, you know, to push it along. I mean, remember, they were traveling with loads or passengers. So, you know, they needed this distributor on that 36 horsepower engine to get the car to get up and go and perform. So I went with that distributor first to put into the motor. Now, that distributor, you can find them on eBay popping up every so often, used for under $100 maybe, or 110 bucks. But there are guys on the Samba.com. One guy in particular is Glenn Ring, and he rebuilds these to factory spec and bench tests them, and they're ready to go when you get them in. He'll even put points condenser for you, put a cap on there for you. Look to spend around $250 for something like that. So all in all, the upgrades in general to make the engine perform better, it's not going to be that cheap. What really is going to knock it out of the park, in my opinion, is if I just recently went with the Abarth quad tip muffler for my 55 Beetle here, and there'll be some sticklers out there that'll tell you that wasn't correct for the year, but actually I have literature that shows advertisements from the 50s that the Abarth muffler was offered for 36 horsepower motors. And this really does improve the performance of the car dramatically. The engine actually breathes better. I'm getting a little more horsepower, and my gas mileage is even better. So I can now cruise on the highway 65, 60 without a problem, and the motor is really not screaming. And if I did want to push it, I could probably go 70 or more with it. I have no problems getting up hills now. Rarely have to downshift unless it's a really steep hill. And I feel confident that the car can keep up with the traffic. So you might want to look into something like this. This Abarth muffler from wolfsburgwest.com, if I pronounced that right, wolfsburgwest.com. They sell the muffler for a little over $500, but by the time you factor in shipping, and you have to buy their gasket kit to go with the muffler, it came in at around 600 bucks, you know, to my door. CIP1.com also sells this muffler, but I hear it's slightly different. It's not called, they don't call it the Abarth, they call it the O'Crossa muffler. The only reason why I went with the Wolfsburg version is because I have the 55 Beetle here, and if you have 55 and earlier, they did not have the cutouts for the pea shooters or the dual tailpipes that they had on the 56 and later Beetles. So I needed the muffler to swoop under the apron, because these this year would have had a single tip muffler, a single tip tailpipe, I'm sorry. So I went with that. I heard that the CIP ones actually will go through the cutouts in your apron, so I couldn't afford to, you know, take a risk and drop that kind of money, and then wind up getting tailpipes going, you know, hitting my apron and not being able to use it. So But all in all, yeah, expect to spend over $800 or so, $800 to get this setup going. But is it worth it in the end? I believe so. For practicality purposes, safety-wise, and if you want to stay period correct with your car, it's definitely a good good option for you, and you're still staying period correct. I wouldn't worry too much if someone's going to stickle you or anything like that. Just for safety concerns, I mean, if you want to drive these cars and get up on the highway, I definitely recommend it. If you're, bone stock, period correct, and you want to trailer your cars, that's a totally different story. So, Wolfsburg West also sells they have a dual carb Ocrasa kit for the 36 horsepower. It runs you about $1,500. They give you the heads, they give you the linkage, and they even give you the carburetors, they give you the air cleaners, they give you the whole setup to convert your 36 horse into an Ocrasa motor. And then, ideally, most of those guys who go with the dual carb setup, they go with the Abarth muffler. It just makes more sense to complete the whole package and to get that. So to that end, that's that tip. What I'm going to do for you right now is I actually want to start this up for you. I want you to hear this Abarth muffler because I think it sounds awesome. Maybe that'll convince you to maybe want to get that muffler for your 36 horse. I definitely think it's worth it. But all right, hold on. Okay, so I hope you got a taste of what that sounds like when you put the Abarth muffler on your 36 horsepower motor. I think even CIP1 sells a Abarth muffler for even 1600 motors. So if you do have that in your car, you could always go with something like that. But I know it's not cheap, but I really like the upgrade to the motor. I think it looks really cool. The car performs much better, and it's more enjoyable to drive even because of the performance issues and things like that. So if anybody's got any questions, please email me, chris@classicvwbugs.com, or you can visit my website, www.classicvwbugs.com. Sign up for my newsletter. I had this posted on my newsletter a few weeks ago, but I finally just decided to do a video for you today to really show you what it's all about. So, all right, got any questions? Pop me an email. Talk to you later.